For Manny Pacquiao, the customary method simply doesn't apply. Twice last year, the Filipino phenom fought at a highly unusual venue for a boxing match, the $1.2 billion crown jewel of pro football, Cowboy Stadium. Along the way, the 32-year-old scored a record-shattering 8th title in 8 divisions, and in a similar one-sided victory, was elected to Congress in the Philippines. But there's no rest for the pound-for-pound king, and on May 7th, Pacquiao will return to Las Vegas following a year-long absence.
I'm so happy to going back to Vegas.
There he will defend his welterweight crown against a supremely talented challenger, 3-time world champion, Sugar Shane Mosley. This year, the 39-year-old veteran has a renewed determination.
Well, obviously I feel that I can beat Pacquiao, and this time I happen to be a big underdog, and I'm ready and willing to shock the world.
As usual, the ever-humble Pacquiao refuses to offer a prediction.
I believe that, both fighters have a chance to win the fight.
The Pacquiao-Mosley battle also features an intriguing undercard. From a highly anticipated rematch of 2010's Fight of the Year, to a celebrated champion aiming for unprecedented glory.
Arce has survived the bloody war.
An event of this magnitude will naturally attract worldwide attention, and Top Rank has assured what is bound to be a record-breaking audience for this event by securing a major broadcasting partner in a deal that will reshape boxing forever.
CBS, the #1 network in the United States, will help us in promoting and publicizing this event.
The currency that was traded in this was not money, it was the audience. We wanted a bigger audience. We want to give back to the sport, which is going to give back to the people.
On May 7th in Las Vegas, a living legend will seek even greater heights. And a veteran champion will aim for an incredible upset. This is the countdown to Pacquiao-Mosley. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the unstoppable 8-time world champion, returns to the ring. In the battle of the year, Pacquiao will take on Sugar Shane Mosley for the World Welterweight Championship. Two of the world's most exciting fighters in the biggest fight of the year. Pacquiao versus Mosley. Saturday, May 7th, live on pay-per-view. Contact your pay-per-view provider to order. Most press conferences have an air of predictability. People make announcements.
Anticipating a sensational championship event in May.
Questions get answered.
Now, how do you feel your mindset is now compared to, say, your first fight that you've ever done?
Well, my mindset now,
And photographers click away. But when 8-time, 8-division champion Manny Pacquiao is involved, the playbook doesn't just go out the window. It simply doesn't exist. With that in mind, Top Rank orchestrated a unique event, one that saw the usual roles reversed.
You in the audience, you're going to line up, we have microphones, and you will ask the questions.
People came from as nearby as California and as far away as Pakistan. There were fans of the challenger, Sugar Shane Mosley.
Because you're going to make history on May 7th, aren't you?
And of course, there were fans of the best boxer in the world, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. But despite the apparent partisanship, fans posed objective questions.
What is motivating both of you to knock the other guy out?
Actually, we're not looking for a knockout. We're just we're gonna do our job in training.
Come on, man. You know you would knock me out. You know you would knock me out. It's okay though. I would knock you out too. But
though brief, the exchange revealed much about these two men. An extremely accomplished fighter by any standard, Shane Mosley nevertheless wants his due.
It almost feels like disrespect when there people say, "Oh, you're 10-1 underdog or 7-1 underdog." I mean, it's like disrespect. My fire just gets so enraged and so strong until when I get to the ring, it's just a different person.
Pound-for-pound king Manny Pacquiao has a decidedly different outlook. Despite his supernova status, Pacquiao exudes a zen-like calm and a single-minded focus.
What I need is to train hard and to do my best in the ring.
But Pacquiao does more than hope for a good show. He wants to guarantee one.
My first concern is the people, the people who are going to watch him. I want them to be happy.
His desire to entertain often leaves Pacquiao vulnerable in the ring and causes his beloved wife Jinky considerable concern.
I'm still worried, of course, because I don't know what will happen after the fight or when he's into the ring. So I'm worried and afraid.
She's afraid, but right now she's always confident of my ability in boxing, and she's always confident of herself that I can win the fight.
There's good reason for Mrs. Pacquiao's confidence. Since 2005, her husband has beaten 13 of the world's top fighters and filled his trophy case with an historic number of titles. It's an achievement that even impresses Shane Mosley.
For Manny Pacquiao's case, I mean, he fought at 106. To move all the way up that's unheard of, to go that far and be that competitive.
And yet, the Filipino superstar still has the ability to awe. Case in point, his last fight against Antonio Margarito. For the fight, Pac-Man amazingly moved up in weight again to the 154-pound level.
So it begins, gentlemen.
Round after round, Pacquiao dazzled the 40,000 fans at the Arlington, Texas-based Cowboy Stadium and doled out a frightful beating on the bigger, stronger Margarito. By the 11th round, Pacquiao had disfigured the tough Mexican's face. A knockout seemed imminent. But Pacquiao took mercy on his opponent.
This fight really should be stopped. It shouldn't be allowed to go on here. The man has no chance of winning the fight.
Manny puts a whooping on this guy, then he looks right at the ref and says, "What do you want me to do? Stop this fight." Look at him. Look, he looks right at the ref. Come on.
The judges handed Pacquiao a unanimous decision win and a record-smashing 8th belt in 8 divisions. No one is more impressed with Pacquiao than his longtime trainer, Freddie Roach.
He let Margarito off the hook in the last fight, in the 11th and 12th. I know he could have knocked him out at any moment then, but he was being compassionate.
But Roach wants no quarter given to Mosley for one reason. Sugar Shane has never been knocked out.
And I'm going to tell Manny, you win by knockout here. It's going to be really, it's going to open a lot more eyes. That's what we're here for. To be the best and to prove that we're the best. And I think stopping Shane would be a big accomplishment.
Unsurprisingly, Pacquiao refrained from playing fortune teller.
But I will do my best to give a good fight. I'm not going to promise that to knock him out.
And I believe that my style is the style to be able to catch to Manny and to be able to hit him. My warning to Manny is, take the fight very seriously, because I'm very serious.
It's a good thing that he will train hard for this fight, and I will train hard for this fight too.
That's why we made this fight, because Mosley, because of the styles, is the fighter out there who is most capable of giving Manny a real tough fight.
Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the unstoppable 8-time world champion, returns to the ring. In the battle of the year, Pacquiao will take on Sugar Shane Mosley for the World Welterweight Championship. Two of the world's most exciting fighters in the biggest fight of the year. Pacquiao versus Mosley. Saturday, May 7th, live on pay-per-view. Contact your pay-per-view provider to order.
Former champion Shane Mosley.
Sugar Shane Mosley is one of the most recognizable figures in boxing, and he inspires a fierce loyalty. The 39-year-old Los Angeles native has fought some of the best in the world, including many of Pacquiao's opponents. Twice, Mosley scored incredible victories over the iconic Oscar De La Hoya, and both times, Mosley walked away with De La Hoya's titles. Then came Mosley's 2009 contest against welterweight champion Antonio Margarito. Many thought Margarito was too strong, too powerful.
When I fought Margarito, I was a 4-1 underdog, and people thought I was going to kill.
But the doubters were soon silenced.
I was 2-3 times faster than Margarito. You know, I did a lot of damage to Margarito, knocking him out.
For many, this was Mosley's signature win.
You know, I find that the Oscar De La Hoya fights were incredible fights, and they were incredibly close fights. The one that kind of surprises me the most was the Margarito fight. Don't ever count him out. I was in that arena when 21,000 people were silent as he turned back the clock. And Manny better watch out, because he'll turn it back again.
Mosley is in his own battle against Father Time. Critics have charged that the 39-year-old is on the downslope of his career. They contend his speed and power have diminished with age, that he's no longer the fighter who crushed Margarito. But many don't buy these arguments. At the top of this list is Manny Pacquiao.
He doesn't look like 39 years old or 37 years old. He just look like 30, 31 years old. I believe that he's still fast and he's still strong.
It is Mosley's last two fights that critics point to as evidence of his decline. In May, he lost by unanimous decision to Floyd Mayweather Jr. And 4 months later, Mosley scored a controversial draw against Sergio Mora.
Because so many people are saying he's old, this is an easy fight. You know, he lost to Mayweather, who's like one of the best fighters of his era.
While acknowledging Mayweather's skill, Mosley contends that the fight took little out of him.
A fight with Mayweather is more strategic than actual war fight. I wasn't tired, or, you know, I wasn't, after the fight, I wasn't like, you know, I had to go to the hospital or anything. I was perfectly fine.
Manny Pacquiao has the exact opposite style. Like Margarito, Pacquiao prefers offense to defense, engagement to evasion. In other words, exactly what Mosley wants.
When he fought Margarito, he looked sensational. Why? Because Margarito came at him, Margarito fired punches, and that's great for Shane Mosley, because Mosley has fast hands, hits hard, and he's a very competent boxer. But Manny will not stay away from him, because Manny's style is to come forward. That suits Shane Mosley.
Mosley has two other important advantages over Pacquiao: size and experience, both of which give the best fighter in the world pause.
Good opponent. Mosley is a good fighter, and in boxing experience, is more experienced than me.
All of this feeds the 18-year veteran's desire to dethrone the pound-for-pound king.
Being my age right now, and and the odds and everything against me, I think being Manny Pacquiao would be at the top of the list.
You know, to have Shane Mosley and Manny Pacquiao, you know, to fight each other, two guys that have fought everybody throughout their whole careers, and come together on May 7th is going to be amazing.
Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the unstoppable 8-time world champion, returns to the ring. In the battle of the year, Pacquiao will take on Sugar Shane Mosley for the World Welterweight Championship. Two of the world's most exciting fighters in the biggest fight of the year. Pacquiao versus Mosley. Saturday, May 7th, live on pay-per-view. Contact your pay-per-view provider to order. Manny Pacquiao fought twice last year, and both times he did so at the state-of-the-art Arlington, Texas-based Cowboy Stadium. But for his May 7th showdown against Shane Mosley, Pacquiao is returning to Las Vegas.
Here we go again. It's nice to be back here in Vegas.
Vegas hosted many of Pacquiao's legendary wins. These sensational performances have won Pacquiao legions of fans.
And Manny, we love you here in Las Vegas. Yeah.
All of whom are hungry to see Pac-Man live.
Manny, yeah.
Recently, tickets for Pacquiao Mosley went on sale. And in just 3 hours, all 16,000 were sold out.
You know, Vegas is Vegas. When prize fights are in Vegas, it's kind of like synonymous with the city. The energy, the people that fly in just to be at a closed circuit seat, or just to make a bet on a fight, or just to be around the ecosystem, that boxing ecosystem that is there. It's electric, absolutely electric.
Vegas makes an appropriate setting for Pacquiao. Like the city, he thrives on distraction. From cutting records to making movies, Pacquiao has a wealth of interests.
Bruce Lee is my idol, so...
But none occupy his time like politics. Last May, Pacquiao was elected to the Filipino Congress. His first order of business, the construction of a much-needed hospital in his district. But as Congressman Pacquiao has learned, helping his constituents requires constant effort.
I'm surprised being a congressman because I thought the problem is like this, but when I get there, the problem is more than what I think.
You know, the way he just holds himself and walks around in his suit, and he's so proud of himself, and he's a very proud man. And I think he should be, because he's accomplished a lot.
Rumors have circulated that Pacquiao has designs on the presidency.
Knowing Manny, he wants to be the best at that also, so, I mean, being president's like winning the world title.
But when questioned about his future plans, nevertheless, Pacquiao has become a political force, and not just in the Philippines. In the last U.S. election cycle, Congressman Pacquiao campaigned on behalf of Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid.
It was a big shot in the arm for my campaign.
You think it helped put you over the top?
Sure.
But Pacquiao's ascendancy into the political arena causes some anxiety among his loved ones, and for good reason.
Actually, the politics in the Philippines is very dangerous.
For Pacquiao's wife, worry is something she's learned to live with.
I'm afraid, and it's very difficult for me to accept it. But I told him that if you're happy, then we'll be happy for you, and we'll be.
The good thing is they understand of my situation. I always told them that I have a lot of responsibility. And I told them, with great power comes great responsibility, and
There's a reason Pacquiao is called the Fighting Congressman. And it isn't because the nickname looks good on a bumper sticker. Though balancing politics and boxing isn't new for Pacquiao, it does create unique scheduling conflicts.
But at one point he said, can we work on Sunday, Freddie? And then Monday I'm going to go to Congress because I don't want to be absent. I want to have a perfect attendance record.
But Pacquiao insists he's comfortable with his double life.
Everything's still okay. I handle everything.
And Pacquiao's promoter has a theory about how.
He compartmentalizes everything. In other words, his business interests, his congressional duties, he puts in a compartment, and he focuses on the task at hand.
The task at hand now is preparing for three-time world champion Sugar Shane Mosley, a task Pac-Man is up for.
The thing is, me and Manny, we're not inventing the wheel and stuff like this, but we're coming up with perfect game plans, and we're studying the bad habits of our opponents.
I'm always hungry to train hard.
Again, I think my biggest job in this fight is not to let it get to Manny's head. People tell him this is an easy fight, because it's not. If we took him lightly, that would be our mistake, and that would be where he could have an advantage.
A mistake the hardened veteran Mosley is keen to take advantage of.
A lot of times when people get in the ring, they get surprised. They get surprised with hand speed and power.
Of course, Pacquiao is also known for speed and power, which is why this matchup is so dynamic.
I mean, I think you never know what happens the night when somebody gets in the ring. You have two guys that have qualities of speed, power, and endurance, right? And when those three components are in each one of their makeups, you don't know what the result is going to be.
Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the unstoppable 8-time world champion, returns to the ring. In the battle of the year, Pacquiao will take on Sugar Shane Mosley for the World Welterweight Championship. Two of the world's most exciting fighters in the biggest fight of the year. Pacquiao versus Mosley. Saturday, May 7th, live on pay-per-view. Contact your pay-per-view provider to order.
The 7-time champion of the world, Manny.
A fight featuring Manny Pacquiao is always the boxing equivalent of the Super Bowl.
Any event that has in it an international icon who transcends the sport of boxing, like Manny Pacquiao, clearly that event has the chance and probably will be the event of the year in the sport.
But for Pacquiao's bout with Shane Mosley, it's been taken to another level. In January, Top Rank signed a landmark deal with Showtime and CBS. The arrangement includes a primetime documentary about Pacquiao-Mosley on CBS, America's #1 rated network.
There are 115 million television homes in the United States, and the only way to reach those homes is with terrestrial network television. We put both CBS and Showtime together to get the greatest possible exposure for this event.
For more than a decade now, boxing's home has largely been premium cable.
And we want to get all of those people who either don't want or can't afford premium cable to be exposed to boxing, because that will help make boxing a major sport again.
As a result, many see this as a potentially transformative moment for the sport, which hasn't had free TV exposure for years.
I'm excited for the sport of boxing because I think so many elements of this fight will be ones that will live on and add to the sport.
Perhaps no one is more excited than the two men at the center of it all, Manny Pacquiao and Shane Mosley.
It's very important to me to reach a lot of people, millions of people around the world.
Say hello to everybody, La República Deportiva.
Hello everybody,
A star of Pacquiao's magnitude in any sport is a rare thing, and many credit Pacquiao's status as a world figure with making the deal possible.
And now CBS has taken a renewed interest in boxing because of Manny Pacquiao. And I hope this is the opening to get boxing back on network television. I mean, this is what the sport needs, exposure. Sport becomes big, big time, like it was in the 70s and 80s, for one reason, and that's exposure.
Amid all the deal making and marketing is a contest that takes place in the ring, not in an office. An elemental test that pits one man against the other in a violent struggle for dominance. And given the histories, the abilities, and the status of Pacquiao and Mosley, it will doubtless be an event to remember. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the unstoppable 8-time world champion, returns to the ring. In the battle of the year, Pacquiao will take on Sugar Shane Mosley for the World Welterweight Championship. Two of the world's most exciting fighters in the biggest fight of the year. Pacquiao versus Mosley. Saturday, May 7th, live on pay-per-view. Contact your pay-per-view provider to order. Before Manny Pacquiao battles Shane Mosley May 7th in Las Vegas, fans will be treated to a sensational undercard. The first features Mexican legend Jorge Arce. A veteran of 15 title fights, Arce has amassed 3 belts in 3 divisions, placing him among an elite group of Mexican fighters.
Has survived the bloody war.
Now Arce will try to surpass them all by winning a 4th title in 4 divisions. But standing in his way is up-and-coming Puerto Rican champion, Wilfredo Vasquez Jr.
¿Qué pienso? Pues que va a ser una gran pelea, una pelea histórica donde nos podemos probar la noche, Wilfredo Vázquez y yo. Y pienso que es una pelea histórica por la rivalidad de México contra Puerto Rico, ¿no? Entonces...
Vasquez Jr. is something of a prodigy, the son and namesake of a 3-division champion. He has no amateur experience, a fact that didn't prevent him from winning a junior featherweight world title.
Yeah, mi papá pues fue un gran campeón, mis respetos. Todo lo que han visto en el cuadrilátero es fruto de su enseñanza.
The 26-year-old will need to leverage all his abilities against the formidable Arce.
He found that body shot we've been looking for.
Last year, another formidable Mexican champion, Humberto Soto, faced his toughest challenge yet, the fearless lightweight, Urbano Antillon. From the outset, it was a riveting thriller of a fight, one that featured frequent bloody exchanges. By the final bell, many observers had already begun considering it for Fight of the Year honors. As an exhausted but victorious Soto retained his title by unanimous decision. Before their first encounter, Soto predicted he would triumph. Now the two will go at it again. In order to win, Antillon has to correct a pair of costly mistakes. One, refrain from giving away the round at the end. And two, avoid Soto's deadly accurate uppercut. Antillon's trainer, Abel Sanchez, has been working hard to make these adjustments. And Sanchez vows the fight won't go the distance on May 7th in Las Vegas.
We're not going to let it get to the scorecards this time. Hopefully, somewhere around the 9th, 10th round, Urbano will have wore him on and stop him.
Another former world champion is looking to regain the form that earned him 2007 Fight of the Year honors. Youngstown, Ohio's Kelly Pavlik captured the world middleweight title and the sporting world's imagination when he knocked out previously undefeated middleweight champion Jermaine Taylor. Pavlik met Taylor again in 2008 and was once again triumphant, solidifying his status as one of boxing's top pound-for-pound fighters. Pavlik defended his middleweight crown 3 times, all by knockout. For Kelly, his biggest battles over the past 18 months have actually been outside the ropes. A year ago, he fought off a near-fatal staph infection on his left hand. Then he had to face the toughest fight of his life against alcohol. After successful stints in rehab, Pavlik looks to put 2010 in his rearview mirror and focus on regaining his stature as one of boxing's most popular attractions. On May 7th, the 29-year-old will step up a division to battle the undefeated Alfonso Lopez. While Lopez will seek to continue climbing the ranks, Pavlik hopes to open a new chapter in his career, one that sees him returning to the world stage and to boxing glory. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the unstoppable 8-time world champion, returns to the ring. In the battle of the year, Pacquiao will take on Sugar Shane Mosley for the World Welterweight Championship. Two of the world's most exciting fighters in the biggest fight of the year. Pacquiao versus Mosley. Saturday, May 7th, live on pay-per-view. Contact your pay-per-view provider to order. In every boxing match, there's something at stake. And while winning a championship is always a fighter's #1 goal, often there's much more brewing beneath the surface. For Sugar Shane Mosley, taking away Manny Pacquiao's welterweight title would be a tremendous achievement.
It'd be a nice crown type of career.
But a victory would also provide him something much more substantial.
You know, I want to fill that void and have the respect of being the best fighter out there. And when I fight and beat Manny Pacquiao, that's going to give me great respect.
For Pacquiao, the fighting congressman from the Philippines, and one of the world's top athletes, a win over Mosley would further solidify his legacy. More importantly, the fight provides the pound-for-pound king an opportunity to entertain his fans and to give back to the sport that has given him so much.
Also, I want to thank to all the fans and the press and media, because without you, we're not here. There's no Manny Pacquiao.
My first concern is the people, the people who are going to watch. And I want them to be happy.
And then he landed a little right hook in there and follows up by knocking Cotto down. That's the first knockdown of the fight.
At its core, the battle between Pacquiao and Mosley is a physical one that features a volatile combination of speed and power, and a clash of explosive styles.
And trust me, the fight between Pacquiao and Mosley, because of Mosley's punching power and because Mosley doesn't have to look for Pacquiao will be right in front of him, will be a slam, bang, interesting fight.
Pacquiao Mosley, Saturday, May 7th, live on